It does feel like a lifetime ago that we were reviewing the first season of Rings of Power back in 2022. And now, finally, the second season is here, the one that everyone has been waiting for because they had such great audience retention. And it's funny, I recall that I was racist for disliking Rings of Power back in 2022. But now the critics are racist because even the critics and journalists are trashing this season, and saying that it's boring and lifeless.
And when Mary says that they had great audience retention, what she means is that in season 1, only 37% of the people that started it finished it.
It
was higher overseas. They just have better attention spans
and look,
over there.
We calculated it out. Again, we forgot the exact numbers earlier. They spent over $700 million on the rights and production budget combined for season 1.
465. According to what I understand, they spent 250 on buying the rights, and then $465 million on the show itself, which comes out to about $58 million in episode. If somebody wants to correct me and tell me that it was $465 million all in, I'm happy to go with that. But from what I understand, they spent the 250 first just to get the rights, and then they dumped. They just literally, it's the Joker in The Dark Knight when he lights all the money on fire. Says it's not about money, it's about sending a message. That's what they were doing. The message was great CGI doesn't make your shitty show good.
Yeah, regardless of whether it was 700 million or if it was like nearing half a billion, it's a lot of money to spend.
$500 million, $750 million.
Here were some of the headlines. Variety said, Rings of Power makes Lord of the Rings a boring slog in lifeless season 2. Another one from Esquire, The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power Season 2 premiere puts the mid in Middle Earth.
Whoever their Zoomer intern is making their their wage.
Rings of Power breaks the mold for TV. That isn't always a good thing.
I love it. They literally did the thing where they say like, Donald Trump is going to cure cancer. Here's why that's a bad thing.
Exactly.
Like, from what I understand, all the directors in the new season are women. So that's perfect.
Really?
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's amazing. That's amazing news. I'll let the women's conference know. I'm actually headed to a women's summit after this, so I'm going to let all the ladies know that this was a massive W for women, that all women are directing this season.
Yep, Yellow Flash says, yep, everyone is a woman. Every director is a woman.
Great. Because women are famously great at directing. According to their showrunners, Patrick McKay and John Payne, this was a passion project for them.
I got so, like, Mary can attest. I read that and I was like, no.
Just let that sink in.
You don't get to make a $465 million passion project unless you yourself possess $465 million.
Unless you are Jeff Bezos.
He can do, I mean, yes, this can be his passion project.
Yes.
This doesn't get to be McKay's passion project.
And they were both first-time showrunners, by the way. You know, just take a risk on an unknown kid.
That should be against the law. It should.
Just a casual $1 billion passion project. It's not like it matters.
I think I'm going to start just applying for random jobs and then be like, I'm going to apply to be a surgeon and just be like, look, why wouldn't you let me? They let people who nobody knew direct the Rings of Power.
And, you know, it's not like the money matters. It's not like the fans' opinions matter either, because the fans are racist. So, you know, we're just going to keep trucking along, and we're already contractually obligated to finish out the series based on our rights deal. So this is going to keep going for, what was it, 5 seasons?
I think at least 5.
5 whole seasons of this garbage that no one is interested in.
Look, what's funny about this is Amazon can do it right when they want to. Okay, Reacher was good. I stand by that. However stupid Alan Ritchson is behaving,
it didn't cost as much.
I found yes, Reacher did not cost as much. I enjoyed The Terminal List. I've enjoyed some of the things that Amazon has made. It's almost like as long as you exist in this pocket sphere that doesn't matter, they leave it alone and let it be.
I'm sorry, this quote from the showrunner, Patrick McKay, is so accidentally honest. He said, after stating this was a passion project, Some of what's been hardest to hear is the cynical point of view that Rings of Power is a cash grab. It's like, it's the opposite. This is the most earnest production. This is not a paycheck job for anybody. This is a labor of love. It's the opposite of a cash grab because you're not making any of your money back.
It's literally what Alex Proyas said about The Crow. He goes, they called it a cynical cash grab, but I guess there isn't much cash to grab.
There is nothing noble about not making money. I don't know who taught these people that it's noble to lose money on art. It's not a virtue.
This is communist Twitter, communist art Twitter in a whole. Like, this is what they were saying about The Acolyte. They're like, it had such great ideas that could have been fleshed out in season 2. I'm like, that doesn't matter if nobody is watching.
You know what? If it's a cash grab, I don't mind something being a cash grab. Just make it good.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a cash grab. Just make it good. Just make it entertaining.
You know more. Like, we had this whole discussion the other day about when we watched the video about the film critic.
Yeah.
And we were talking about what that means because you're like, I don't like it.
What is the mise en scène?
Yeah. But the point
still don't know.
is like, look, I can articulate the reasons that they tell you in film school why something is good or bad. That has never stopped me from liking a bad movie or a bad TV show. I literally just talked about how I'm watching Mutant X in my spare time. You can make like cash grab art. Like, there's plenty of movies that can do that. That's not what this is. This is cultural. The attempt to conquer a cultural touchstone and turn it into something they want it to be.
It's colonization.
Yes.
It's just reverse colonization. Although this show has an 86% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes for their second season.
Even the positive reviews are so tepid.
The fresh reviews for this season always qualify it with something negative.
Yep.
So that says enough, I think, about what they really think. But I looked for a couple of the Rotten reviews. One said, Rings of Power remains epically underwhelming, full of noise and ambition, yet lacking the magic of the original Tolkien novels or Peter Jackson's trilogy. Another one said it's an immersive vacation to Middle-earth, but one feels confined to a packaged agenda. Maybe we'll actually get into the place and various people or beings next season. Don't hold your breath. Another one said, falls prey to one of the most common afflictions of its kind. Feels like a story shaped backwards from events we already know will need to transpire, rather than one driven forward by the motives and choices of its characters.
Let me let you guys know how easy I am to please. I love the show Merlin, which takes great liberties with all sorts of stories and ideas, race swaps. It looks like it's made by a high school film crew. Yeah. I love it. I love every second of it. I think it's fantastic.
It's a passion project.
It was a passion project. And the reason I love it is because it feels like it was made in good faith by people that enjoyed what they were making, no matter how loose it is with its adaptation of material. I love it. And it felt fun. There is nothing that feels on the level of fun or passionate when I watch this.
Yeah, well, are you going to review it?
Maybe what I'll do is I'll watch episode 1.
Because I don't know if you would make it.
Here's the thing, though. Like, whenever we have to review stuff, right, that I know we're going to hate, it turns it into this kind of like, I'm looking at the clock and I'm miserable. Like, I literally saw a Critical Drinker talking about it. He's like, I have to watch all these episodes of Rings of Power for open bar tonight, and I don't know if I can do it because it's so awful. Maybe knowing that I don't have to review it if I don't want to will make it easier to sit through.
The pressure is off. Yeah. But I already know if we watch it, we're going to hate it. The problem is, I would agree to review it if I thought anyone cared anymore, but no one gives a shit,
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be talking about this. It just needs to have its cultural relevance, and it lost it.
There was a really funny old article that I saw where they basically said it got a season 2, therefore it must have been justified. They're like,
that was in the contract.
Yeah.
That was in the contract regardless of performance. 5 seasons. That's the cost of buying the rights for $250 million. That's not an indicator of success. That's just buying success. And you can afford it off the back of 2-day shipping. That's literally the name of the game.
It's literally me. It's like I'm
literally
paying
you're
for
the
it.
reason why Rings of Power exists. So you're to blame.
I brought home a package yesterday of water that got delivered to me from Amazon.
And you were like, this is why Morphed Clark has a job.
well, no, do you remember when it was coming out and they had like Rings of Power shipping tape?
Yeah, I do. I remember that. That was crazy. I was like, what are you doing?
Oh, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe guys, I'll watch episode 1 and just maybe what'll happen is I'll do it and I'll make the most like half-assed reviews ever and they'll do better because I'm not trying.
Yeah, that's. I like
Anyways,
that.
this shit was garbage. Bitch looked like she was just bored the whole time. Like.
That's all that needs to be said, anyway.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.